Hello boys and girls. Today I'm going to teach you how to use some clay hand building strategies to make a clay robot. Those are my robot sound effects. Okay, so this is going to become even cooler after it comes out of the kiln and we add color and we'll add wire and things to make this look a little bit more like a robot. We can even add on things like bottle caps or other little metal bits that we can find. So we're going to use some hand building strategies, and the strategy we're mostly using is slab. So I have rolled out for you a long slab of clay. A slab is sort of like a pancake of clay, and you can use a rolling pin. I happen to have a slab roller. So the important thing here is going to be starting off with nice smooth edges on the side, and you want this to be about the right length. So I actually cut some pieces of paper for you. You're going to sit it down on your slab, and with a clay tool, which might be one of these or a wooden, I have some that are like this but wooden, you're actually just going to slice off the top, but save this clay, okay? And slice off the bottom, but save it. And then you're done with this piece of paper. So you're going to take this, what is essentially right now a shape, which is an element of art, and you're going to transform it magically through the power of art into a form, a cylinder. So you're going to do that by putting it on its side. And you can see it's really pretty thick, so it should hold up. And you curl it into a form. Now, we need to make sure that these two sides attach properly and that they don't fall apart. To do that, we are going to use another hand building strategy. It's called score and slip. Score and slip. So, to do this, you're going to gently, because this is, of course, clay, it could just fall apart. Hold it in your hands, and scoring is where you're actually, just like you see in that picture there, sort of scratching the edges that will make contact, will touch, okay? Now, the slip is that mixture of clay and water that's sort of like glue. It can also act as sort of like, I like to call it lotion for clay. So I'm putting the slip on both sides. I put it back upright. And then I'm going to put the sides together. And then you want to sort of smooth the seam. Now, there's a couple ways you can do this. You can just use the front of your finger like this. You can use, I kind of like to do this, your fingernail, and of course your fingernail is, well, mine's covered in clay, but it's smooth, and it smooths it together. I also have things like, oh, this is an old Disney World card, or little pieces of plastic like from lids that you can use, and it just says clay scraper on here. So you can sort of scrape the pieces together so that you end up with a nice smooth seam. You see that? This is exactly where the seam was. In fact, you can see a little bit on the inside. So, while you're at it, you're going to take the slip on your sponge, squeeze that out, and gently smooth this around. Okay, you do not want to get it too wet because then it won't be sturdy enough to hold up. Okay, so I've added a little bit of that lotion, like I said. I can use my clay scraper to sort of smooth out the surface if I would like. And now I have the basic body of the robot. From here, you are going to think about how you want to attach the bits and pieces that would be on your robot. See how it looks smooth and shiny? So, on this robot, you can see I used 2 circles for the eyes. I took sort of a long skinny slab again and attached it and added texture. That's an element of art. To the surface to kind of give it the look of like teeth. I did the same thing for the arms, and I tried to make the hand part of the robot sort of look like a clamp. So this is where those extra pieces of clay come in handy. Now, this is pretty thick. If I were you, I would take my my rolling pin, and roll it out a little bit. Not too thin, but you don't need it that thick anymore because these are really just decorative. So you can add texture to your slab in a couple of ways. I have stamps. I thought this one was cool and kind of looked robot-ish, so I could take this and press it into the surface of the clay, and that creates a really cool texture. You can actually just sort of draw into the surface of the clay, so I can use lines. That's another element of art. And do robotish, is that a word? Robot-like things, like this. It helps if you make robot noise. And then if you want to cut out a shape, you can either take this tool and simply draw onto the surface. So let's say I want to make a triangle, like for the nose. I can actually draw onto the surface. If I'm happy with what I've drawn, you push all the way through and cut out that shape. Okay? Or you can take something like this, put it on top. This is actually like a cookie cutter. And just press into the surface of the clay. Kind of give it a wiggle. And then you have a perfectly round circle. Okay, there's just one more thing that I need to show you. Another strategy. This is the, oh, I already showed you this, the score and slip. Okay, well, I'm going to show you again. Score and slip. Ta-da! When you're attaching a piece to the surface again. So I guess I showed it to you with just attaching the ends. The same thing would apply if you wanted to put this on the front. You're going to take your tool, score the surface, both surfaces, and then add slip. A little bit here, a little bit here, and gently attach it. Okay? All right, so now you know the strategies. The rest is up to you, designing what you want your robot to look like, thinking about what parts will be clay, what parts might be made out of another material after it has been fired in the kiln. Do you want your robot to be basically one cylinder, or do you want to have, I put a top on mine, I could have made this just the body and this part up here added a head. That part's up to you. We're going to start today with a quick sketch, and then once you're happy with your sketch, you can come to me to get that slab of clay to get started on these hand building strategies that I have just shown you. All right, let's have fun.